Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Wes here. Today we're going to be talking about Ark II, and we're going to go over when the next gameplay reveal will likely take place. The game's predecessor, Ark Survival Evolved, was a surprise hit, and many people consider it to be one of the games that really helped push the survival genre into the mainstream. Now, Ark Survival Evolved is a fantastic game and an amazing success story from a relatively small studio based out of Redmond, Washington called Studio Wildcard. Now, the game was big enough to get the attention of none other than Microsoft, and an official sequel simply called Ark II was announced during the 2020 Game Awards with a ton of extra funding from Xbox Game Studios. What kind of started as a scrappy underdog PC exclusive has become one of the biggest survival IPs in the world, but more than 2 years after the initial announcement, we're still waiting for the official news, gameplay, and of course a release date. Ark II is allegedly coming out this year, but with the Steam page still sitting with the vague coming soon stamp over its release date, it's hard not to get a little bit worried about the state of development. Thankfully for that, we have some information that suggests a gameplay reveal is coming soon, and in this video I'm going over everything that we know about this upcoming survival game and how long we'll likely wait before we're able to get our hands on it. But real quick guys, I'm giving away a PS5 for 100,000 subscribers. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to my channel, comment your Twitter handle, and then tweet me proof that you're subscribed, and the winner will be announced at 100,000 subscribers. Also real quick, let me know how many hours you have logged in Ark 1, and let's see who has the most hours in the comment section. Like I said, Ark II was announced at the 2020 Game Awards and was confirmed to be a partnership between Xbox Game Studios and Studio Wildcard, meaning it will not be launching on the PlayStation systems. Now personally, I think it's inevitable that this game gets a PS5 port in the future, but that's of course a conversation for a different video. Ark II is also confirmed to have some other major star power behind it, with Vin Diesel playing quite a major part in the game's story, also apparently is serving as one of the game's producers. The game was announced alongside an animated series starring a ton of big name actors that was originally expected to come out in 2022, but obviously we know that that didn't happen. In reality, the Ark animated series went into production in roughly June of 2022, and we got a new trailer in December, but the show's release date is still unknown at the time of making this video, so I think it's safe to say the state of the Ark universe has been a little bit confusing over the last few years. 2020 had some massive announcements, and as of early 2023, we still don't know when to expect any of those announcements to come to fruition. However, I do have some theories as to what this lack of information has to say about Microsoft and Studio Wildcard's plans. It all started with the Xbox Developer Direct that took place on January 25th. Now, many people expected this event to give some updates on in-progress games like Ark II, Gears 6, Fable, Forza Motorsport, and so on and so forth. And while we did get a ton of Forza news, the rest of those games were never so much as mentioned. The fact that Ark II wasn't discussed at the Xbox Developer Direct wasn't a great sign of what's to come, and if Microsoft is waiting until E3 to show off the rest of their 2023 games, that would mean that Ark II isn't coming out till then at the very earliest. Ark II is a major Xbox console launch exclusive, and Microsoft is going to want to show it off at a major conference, but since E3 seems like the next big Xbox thing on the schedule, we're probably going to have to be waiting quite some time to see it. The developers have actually been hyping up something else on Twitter recently. It has to do with an upgrade to Unreal Engine 5 for Ark 1, but more on that in a few minutes. You also have to remember that Ark 2 features some massive names like Vin Diesel, so there's no way that Studio Wildcard lets it out the door without a lengthy marketing campaign, and on top of that, there's also the animated series tied to Ark 2, so there has to be ample promotion and cross promotion with that, and since we have no idea when the Ark animated series is coming out, that kind of puts a giant question mark on Ark 2 as well. The point I'm getting at here is Ark 2 is not the kind of game that's going to be a surprise launch or just get a few weeks of promotion. This is the kind of game that's going to want lots of attention at a major conference like the Xbox Game Showcase, which basically rules out a launch before late summer at the absolute earliest, because Ark 2's next big showcase is likely going to be the Xbox Game Showcase for E3. Unless Microsoft plans on hosting some kind of Xbox event between now and E3, I wouldn't expect any major Ark 2 news until at least June. Now, despite the lack of big news for Ark 2, the developers have done their best to assure players that the game is going well and looking promising. Now, in late January, Studio Wildcard posted some new Ark 2 material on their blog, including a look at some new dinosaurs. In the blog post, they confirmed that the Stegosaurus was coming to Ark 2, and they described the creature as a noble guardian from a foregone epic. They also announced the thunderous Brachiosaurus, which was basically described as an aloof behemoth. They also confirmed that Ragnarok, a popular community map, was being ported to the Nintendo Switch version of Ark Survival Evolved, which is great news for Switch players. So even though the big announcements are few and far between, Studio Wildcard has been drip feeding new information about the game, so they're clearly preparing preparing for something bigger. Whenever a studio starts drip feeding things like this, it's usually to ensure that more people are looking for the bigger news right around the corner. And since the Ark animated show got a new trailer a month ago, it's starting to look like a major marketing push is imminent. One of the most shocking pieces of news for Ark this year was actually for the first game as opposed to the sequel. Just this month, it was confirmed that the developers were working on a complete upgrade slash remaster of Ark Survival Evolved in Unreal Engine 5, which of course is a massive jump in visual fidelity from the game's current engine, Unreal Engine 4. Now, no release date has been put forth for the remastered version of Ark Survival Evolved, but it will be a free patch for the current game, meaning Ark 1 players will just get an update while all future Ark 1 players will experience the game for the first time on the updated engine. Personally, I think this is being done to hold players over until Ark 2 because the wait is going to be a bit longer than anticipated. I personally don't know what the other reason for this is. The idea of Ark 1 remastered or upgraded version to the new engine is awesome, but it's not the kind of thing you release mere months before the launch of your new game, right? That being said, I think this could mean that Ark 2 is going to launch in late 2023 at the absolute earliest, because if this Ark 1 patch comes in February or March, they're probably going to wait at least 6 months before launching the sequel, which would mean that the game will come out in late summer or early fall. And that's of course assuming that it doesn't get internally delayed again, in which case it would be late 2023 or early 24. Am I thinking too hard about this? Perhaps, but I don't think the release of Ark 1 remastered is actually good news for the status or launch of Ark 2 soon after. With the wait for Ark 2 getting longer and longer, I think the surprise confirmation of Ark 1 remastered is being done for logistics. But that of course begs the question, will this game be delayed to 2024? Honestly, I have no idea at this point. The lack of news is certainly concerning, but the fact that we got a new Ark animated series trailer in December is actually kind of promising. The show and the game are going to be tightly linked to one another, and where one goes, the other will follow. So if a new trailer comes out in December, I'm willing to bet it will start streaming by the middle of the year. That gives Ark 2 plenty of time to get hyped up, and the next gen patch for Ark 1 will give players a good first impression of the universe. The show will likely have the same effect of Cyberpunk Edge Runners and drive a lot of new people to actually try out the first game. And if it looks super pretty in Unreal Engine 5, let's be honest, those players are likely going to be pretty hyped up for Ark 2 by the end of the year. Assuming the show starts streaming in May and the next gen patch comes out by March, I'm willing to bet that Ark 2 will come out in the fall or winter that year. This of course should also mean that Ark 2 will get a ton of attention at E3 2023, which will be good for a late year launch. It'll be interesting to see if Microsoft tries to launch Ark 2 near Spider-Man 2, or if they want to keep some distance between them, but until Sony confirms Spidey's release date, we just don't know what that showdown will look like at all. All of that being said, I'm expecting the game to come out sometime between the late summer and early winter of this year, probably between August and November. Until we get a release date for the animated series, we likely won't know anything new about the game. But like I said, and again, the closer we get to E3, the more we will probably want to be on the lookout for new Ark 2 information. Overall, I'm a little bit concerned about the state of Ark 2. The developers have done their best to drip feed us information about the new game, but it seems like everyone involved with the project is doing their best to not tell us when it's coming out, which is usually a sign that things aren't doing too well. After all, you can't miss deadlines if you never actually set them, right? It's also Studio Wildcard we're talking about there, the kings of delaying games. I have some high hopes for Ark 2, and I'm sure it will be a fantastic experience, but the question now is whether or not people are still going to care about it once it finally comes out. If the wait is going to be even longer than 6 to 8 months, I think Microsoft should just come out and tell us, because I think the vague coming soon nonsense is one of the things that people hate the most about modern gaming, but maybe that's just me. Either way though, guys, the hype is real for Ark 2, and I cannot wait for it to come out. Do you think we're going to get some news soon? Will it be at the Xbox Gaming Showcase that will likely take place in June of this year? And furthermore, are you just kind of done waiting for Ark 2? Do you want the game to be in your hands? Or are you fine with Studio Wildcard taking all the time they need to make sure that it launches in a good state and not nearly as broken as Ark 1 was at launch? But the reality is Ark 2 will likely launch in very early access, and as the game progresses in early access with more updates, it will likely get even closer to the full official launch. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Be sure to let me know what your thoughts are on all of this down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on if you have not already. Don't forget to enter the 100,000 subscriber PS5 giveaway. The details are at the beginning of the video. And until next time, everybody, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you all in the next video.